Hey everybody, welcome back to James Draws Everything. Continuing today, drawing every country in the world's flag, and we got a big one. All right, we got one with a lot of history here, lots to talk about. Going to be doing the country of Greece, right? And can already tell you, right, with almost 4,000 or 5,000 years of recorded history here, in the little flag episode that we're doing, it's going to be impossible to hit it all, right? So we're going to leave some stuff out, of course, but we'll just kind of hit it in broad strokes here. Greece, ancient Greece, when I say, recorded history, I mean, obviously, human beings kind of existing all over the world, right? A lot of ancient civilizations, but Greece is one of the very first where we kind of have this all recorded, right? So kind of like the father of a lot of stuff, right, that we consider Western. So kind of just running through it broad strokes here. Democracy, republicanism, philosophy, a lot of literature, like Herodotus, like actually being like one of the fathers of first-hand history, right? So before, like, history was always kind of mixed with mythology, and this kind of changes that as well. Again, like political democracy, a lot of art, literature, sports, right? The Olympics, Greek in origin. So this place has contributed a whole lot culturally, right, to the Western world, and we'll hit the broad strokes here with the history. So kind of early on, a lot of the people there were like in the island of Crete, and that was sort of seen as like one of the main seats of like the civilized world. And that kind of expands into what's sort of like the modern nation of Greece over a few centuries there. So all of these city states in Greece kind of have their own sort of identities there. Kind of spans throughout like the Mediterranean and the Black Seas, kind of going into like modern day Turkey as well, right? So like Constantinople, which is currently Istanbul, and the Greeks and the Turks, they have had a lot of issues over the years, right? Kind of, it's not just a recent development, right? So it kind of spans millennia, that kind of feud there. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the modern implications of that kind of rivalry, you can check out my video that I did on the island state of Cyprus. Yeah, back to Greece though. So most of the modern state of Greece is united under Philip of Macedon in around the 4th century. Then his son Alexander the Great, of course, conquers much of the known ancient world from pretty much the Mediterranean to India. And so that, like, the height of Greek culture and its influence is kind of taking place. And then, yeah, so they're sort of, of course, just like any civilization, they don't decline overnight. But the civilization of Rome is gaining power at the same time that the Greeks are kind of in their twilight. So again, it doesn't happen overnight, but they do become a part of the Roman Empire. And this is very, very broad strokes, but the Romans, we think of that as sort of kind of becoming what we think of today as like Catholicism. And then the Greeks, that kind of seat of power is in Constantinople with sort of the Byzantines. So you kind of have a split there. Again, that's a very, very simplistic view of things, but yeah, again, we're talking about thousands of years of civilization. So that's kind of the start of the Greek Orthodox Church, and kind of where you get your modern Greek religion and identity in the wider Orthodox Christian world. And yeah, they do have wars as well with like the Persians, right? And that sort of that kind of fuels a lot of legends and whatnot over the years. And kind of like a modern example, if you ever seen the movie 300, that was inspired by those events. And then the Greeks, a few centuries later, they kind of fall to the rising Ottoman Empire. So that's like the mid-15th century under the rise of the Ottomans. And again, that's kind of that goes much deeper than that as well, because you kind of have like an ancient feud between them. And then the Ottoman Empire, again, just like all empires, it's not it's not like an overnight decline, right? They also had their own sort of decline over several centuries. So kind of leading into where we would start off talking about like modern day Greece. They win independence from the Ottoman Empire in 1830. Right, so they become an independent state, and there's a lot of support by like the British during this time, because the British, they kind of had their own issues with the Ottomans. And this is also kind of just sort of like liberal in like the old school sense of the word, right? They're supporting, their fellow Christians, even though they're not Orthodox in Britain. They're supporting their Christians in that part of the world, under, in their struggle and all that. So the second half of the 19th century, and then kind of like the first half of the 20th, it does expand its borders, correct? Because there's a lot of kind of wars with some of those Balkan powers, kind of supported by Russia and Britain against the Ottoman Empire. And then Greece, right? They're kind of in the background of World War I and II, but that's sort of a kind of just an important part of the world as far as access to the seas, right? So you kind of have that very important strategic part of the world there, right? Kind of like linking Turkey to Europe, linking Russia to warm water ports. So always an important place, even though maybe their political power in the world, is nowhere near what it was in like their heyday, the classical antiquity. World War II, they're kind of at a tough spot as well, just because kind of communism has sort of taken over that part of Europe, right? So like Bulgaria falls to communism, Romania, Greece did kind of have a civil war during this period, right? So they were occupied by Germany. Greece did have a fascist government under Ioannis Metaxas. And I guess you could say that they did all right because they kept communism out, right? So Bulgaria fell, Romania fell, all these other places in in Eastern Europe fell to the communists, but Greece did not. So yeah, they did have a civil war though in the background of World War II, kind of supported by both sides, but the communists did lose there. And then Greece joins, kind of all the what you would consider like the Western powers post World War II. So they joined NATO in 1952. In 1967, though, their king, that they were trying to preserve against like the communist forces, he does flee the country after a military coup, and so you have a military dictatorship until 1974, and then the monarchy is completely abolished during this time period. So a bit of a decline for Greece since then. Greece, especially in the 21st century, they've definitely been hit by some of these economic crises a lot harder than most countries. They do have very spendthrift, I guess you'd call it, social welfare programs, right? Because they did have a lot of communist influence in their government, and they're always like kind of going bankrupt, right? So almost like the Argentina of Europe for a while there. And yeah, with like the housing market crash, .com bubble and stuff like that, end of the 20th into the 21st century, the Greek economy definitely took a lot of they took a big hit during those crises. So they were bailed out like 3 times, basically by the IMF and like those European central banks, billions and billions of aid as far as like IMF loans and whatnot. So they did formally exit this bailout program though in 2018. So we'll see what happens there. I guess their economy's been on a bit of a rebound, but just like all of the world with the 2020 thing that happened, put a little bit of stress on it again. Greece, owing to the history, right? It's always been a very popular tourist destination. Beautiful beaches, right? Very kind of a very diverse climate as well. You got all these mountains and then beaches in the country. So it's a gateway to a lot of other places in Europe too. So Greece, you can kind of almost hit anything off of Greece. So yeah, it is still a hot spot today. It's not what it used to be thousands of years ago, but then again, who is, right? So Greece always has its its culture and influencing the world today. So many things that you think of when you think of Western civilization have their origins in Greece, right? So much literature, art, sports, everything. So good on Greece for that. But what does the flag mean? So we've got 9 stripes here, blue with a white, and the cross, of course, that represents Greek Orthodoxy. It's the established religion of the country. But as far as these 9 stripes, there actually is no agreed upon meaning for them, right? So it can mean, I guess, whatever you want it to mean. But yeah, so that is Greece. Again, we could probably talk for days and days about Greece, because there's such a powerful civilization, throughout history, has so much going on there. But yeah, we'll do what we can in this little 10-15 minute episode. So that is the flag of Greece, and let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video.